All right, 2026 Yamaha WR125R. I just picked this bike up a few days ago. A little bit about me is I've been riding since I'm 18. Been riding for a while now. I'm an old man, and I started out with a 250 and then worked my way up to a 750 during my riding time. I've ridden sports bike. I've owned all the 600s of all the Japanese brand, and I've owned two 750 Gixxers. And as far as dirt bikes, I've owned a couple of RM85s, 150Rs, CR85Rs, had a KTM 125SX, then jump onto a YZ250, and it's a YZ250 two-stroke. That thing was scary. It has more power than anybody needed, in my honest opinion. Sorry, I have a little bit cold. And then I start riding. I had a passion for dirt and also the street, so I jump onto the dual sport scene. I had a 2009 Suzuki DR200 SE, and then rode the shit out of that bike, and then sold it, and then I got another 2015 Suzuki DR200S. It's the newer model of the DR200 SE. And then I went on and grabbed a Honda CR F250L. It's the street model, and I saw that bike. Reason why I saw that bike was too heavy. Not saying that the WR is not heavy. It is heavy, but it's it has a more dirt bike feel. So if anybody is looking at this, thinking about what they doubts or questions, stuff like that, I say go get it. If riding motorcycle is basically if you're happy or not. You could be happy on a 50cc. If that makes you happy, then you're happy. If you feel like you need a Hayabusa, it makes you happy, then it makes you happy. At the end of the day, it's just about having fun and being safe. So for those that question about the power or have question about handling on this bike, you can go and research more on YouTube. This bike is really new, so there's not a lot of videos on it. Well, new in the United States. In other countries like Asia, Australia, probably Europe, it's been there for years. They haven't imported to the United States. So this year they imported to the United States. I really don't know about the other one. The ones overseas is called the Yamaha WR125RX. People might have a question, how does this compare or relate to other light dual sport? I can only tell my experience. Riding the DR200S and the Honda CRF 250L, this bike is like in between. The Honda is really heavy. It's more like you're sitting in the bike, and the DR is kind of like in the middle. And this bike is built more like a dirt bike. You're sitting on top of the bike. That's kind of like the best way to explain it. So my biggest pet peeve was like, man, how do I compare this bike to my Suzuki DR125? I also own play bikes. I have Yamaha TTR 125, Suzuki DRZ 125. So this is a 25. It's in that zone. And what really stood out for me was that it has fuel injected, and also oh, here comes a car. Liquid cool. So I was kind of iffy about that. And then also they got the variable, I don't know, Yamaha variable thing that, you know, supposed to switch up the valves if you go into like certain, you could do that on the research if you guys want. But my biggest question was like, is this going to be more powerful than the DRZ 125? And yeah, it is more power. One thing that stood out a lot to me was there's no vibration in this bike, which is I like a lot, because a lot of the time smaller bikes, people would tend to think that, you know, if you're going fast it's going to be vibrating. But, you know, Yamaha has a counterbalance, which makes this bike, you know, less vibration. The throttle response is pretty nice. It's really smooth. Suspension is really good on this bike, man. I gotta say, you know, for what it is, it's not a motocross, you know, so for what it is, it's really nice. Suspensions is nice. You don't want a suspension that's too hard on the street, because you're gonna feel every bump. I had a decked out R6. Oh my gosh, that thing is really nice, but holy crap, you can feel every bump on the street on that thing. Things that I like about this bike is the forks, the motor, the ergonomics on it. You know, it's kind of more of like a dirt bike feel. And LED, I like the LED. I think the LED is nice. Fuel injected, liquid cool, the Yamaha variable cam, I like that. This bike is barely new, so I still have more to ride and get to know more of the bike. Things I don't like is the weight. The weight is like 300 pounds, you know, compared to my Honda CRF 250L. The Honda was like 200, and no, it was like 327 in that area. This bike is 304 pounds. I mean, for 125, you know, give and take. It's not as good as it should be, but just because the ergonomics on it, it feels a lot lighter. It's a lot nimbler. It's very nimble. That's one thing that I like a lot. And things that I don't like is oh yeah, another thing I like is the price range. That's why I bought it. And so with that being said, with the price range, Yamaha did build this thing on a very cheap budget. The steel frame is pretty cheap. The foot pegs, the swing arm, the rear passenger foot peg. It looks like you would go to Menards and buy something and slap it on it. This thing is useless, basically. But you know, besides that, you can't complain about a 125R. It is what it is. And more videos to come. Comment below.